Quick question, what's something you absolutely loved doing when you were younger that quietly disappeared from your life? Maybe it was drawing, maybe it was playing music, maybe it was sport. For me it was gaming, and recently, after many years of focusing on career, family and building my coaching practice, I started playing again. Now this might sound a little like a small thing, but what surprised me wasn't the gaming itself, it was the feeling. Because sometimes the things we give up while building our lives are the very things that reconnect us with who we are. And in a world that constantly pushes us to move forward, level up, optimize everything and become more productive, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is return to something you once loved. As we grow older, life naturally becomes more structured. Careers become demanding, families need attention, bills, responsibilities, commitments, they all start filling the calendar. And somewhere along the way, something subtle happens. We stop doing things purely because we enjoy them. Not because we consciously choose to stop, but because life gets louder. The hobbies that once gave us energy quietly get replaced by obligations. And we tell ourselves we'll come back to them later. Later often becomes years. Growing up, gaming was something I really enjoyed. It was immersive, creative, and honestly just fun. I remember my father bringing home our very first console when it came out, Pong. Now that's showing my age. I went on to play with various handheld and tabletop gaming systems, which followed on with the very first PlayStation and Xbox. But as life progressed, it all slowly faded into the background. There was always something more important to focus on: career, responsibilities, family commitments, developing my coaching practice. All meaningful things, of course, but recently I picked up a game again after a long time. And what surprised me wasn't nostalgia, it was something deeper. It reminded me what it feels like to simply be curious again, to explore, to play, to focus on something purely because it's enjoyable, not because it's productive. And that experience made me realise something important. There are parts of ourselves we don't lose. We just stop visiting them. When we return to something we loved earlier in life, we're not just revisiting an activity. We're reconnecting with an earlier version of ourselves. A version that existed before pressure, expectations and responsibilities started shaping our daily lives. A version that had curiosity. Qualities that many adults quietly suppress without even realising it. The musician and artist David Bowie once said, "Always go a little further into the water than you feel capable of being in." What he meant was that creativity, exploration and curiosity are where growth happens. And those qualities often show up most naturally when we're doing something we genuinely enjoy. The problem is that modern culture subtly pushes us towards constant productivity. Everything needs a purpose, everything needs to be optimised. If you pick up a hobby, the question quickly becomes, can you monetize it? Can you turn it into a side hustle? Can you become exceptional at it? But not everything in life needs to become a project. Some things exist purely to bring joy. And when we allow ourselves to return to those things without turning them into work, something powerful happens. Our minds relax, our creativity expands, and strangely, even our productivity in other areas improves. Because energy comes from enjoyment, not just achievement. Recently, going back to gaming reminded me of something else I used to enjoy: photography. There was a time when picking up a camera and capturing moments felt natural, creative, calming. And lately I've been thinking about returning to that as well. Not because it will lead anywhere, not because it needs to be useful, but simply because it's something I once loved. And sometimes that's reason enough. The writer Kurt Vonnegut once gave this beautiful piece of advice: practice any art, music, singing, dancing, acting, drawing, not to get money or fame, but to experience becoming. To experience becoming. That's something many adults forget. So here's a simple question worth asking yourself. What's something you loved doing earlier in life that quietly disappeared? Something that once gave you energy. What if you simply revisited it? Not to master it, not to monetize it, just to reconnect with that part of yourself again. If you want to try this, keep it simple. First, identify something you genuinely enjoyed earlier in life. Second, reintroduce it in small doses, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, that's enough. And third, this is the important one, allow it to exist without turning it into productivity. Let it be something you do purely because you enjoy it. Returning to gaming recently didn't transform my life overnight, but it reminded me of something important. The parts of ourselves that once just brought us joy don't disappear. They simply wait patiently for us to come back. And sometimes the best way to move forward in life is to reconnect with something from the past that made you feel alive. So I'd love to know, what's something you used to love doing that you haven't touched in years? Let me know in the comments. And maybe this week is the week you return to it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do consider giving it a like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, I'm Dr. Rakesh Rana, the Clear Coach.